We are back, and this is the best part of the week for me. We're back with Metamorphosis, aka Neil Frazier, and we're set and ready to dive into this topic. And with all the obstacles that we face, we have to realize that there's always a reason for it, because it's building us up to be better than ever before. Brother, I'm here. I'm glad you're here with me. Everything's looking good. And
man, that is an awesome banner, man.
Hey,
like you said, the Mount Rushmore.
Oh, you want to put it back up again? Let me show you.
Mount Blackmore.
Exactly.
That's
And I've realized
but look at that
so
sun in
much
the background
in this last week. Oh yeah. Awesome. It's like it wasn't part of me. Now I don't draw these things. This is, you make the request and you manipulate. Yeah. And I said I wanted it this way. And when I saw it, I knew you'd like it.
But you got the concept though.
I'm visual. I see things. A young lady called me today, and we were speaking about other things. And she was talking about a business that she wanted to start out. And automatically, like the name that she gave it, I told her, I said, this is what I see. You don't have to do it. She's like, oh my God, that's so simple, but it's so effective. And even though we're going to get into the subject, I want to say this. When you do a logo, there are people who do all this elaborate stuff on a logo. No, it has to be easily digestible, meaning that you don't give raw steak to a child. You can't do it, even if you put little pieces. It has to be able to, when you see it, there's something about it that's easy to remember, and that you can print it on a letterhead in black and white, and you'll still know what it is. That's the thing.
Wow. Yeah.
I've seen people with logos that look like a coat of arms and all of this stuff, and you can't do anything with it.
Yeah,
simple,
I've seen that too.
Certain font, maybe some kind of color in there, but something easily digestible that you can take the color out and still recognize it. Okay. That's what most people don't know.
Okay. Yeah, you know, with me, and I know that you have to think this way. We have to think this way when we're looking at issues, is that our conception of what we see, that powerful image of the sun with those melanated Mount Blackmore, I mean, that in itself is pretty much the show. Okay, that is pretty much, they're not like us. Vernal equinox or spring equinox, Black people and our heliacal rising. And yeah, brother, this topic is so very, very important. And like you, I had an inspiration about this about maybe 4 days ago. Yeah. And I was looking at, because you know, when springtime come around, the earth changes. Not just, you know, not just the physical earth, but you also see a lot of the insects and animals come out, that have been hibernating all winter. And then you also see the beauty of nature come out. Right. And it's like a refreshing and a renewing or a rebirth.
Yes.
And so there's a lot surrounding this concept. There's a lot surrounding this concept, and this concept is one of the oldest ones in the history of mankind. And so, again, man, that sun behind there, that pretty much tells the whole story of what we're going to discuss today. Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
There you go.
That brother, that first brother, and then you got the sister over there looking at him like, what y'all going to do?
Yes.
What you gonna do with this son you got? What you gonna do with
it? That's right. We got all this power. What are we gonna do today?
That's right.
And they're connected. They're connected to the sun. This is why, this is why Bill Gates wants to get rid of the sun. You see what I mean?
Yes.
Because that's how
he wants to block the sun.
Block the sun, sterilize us. Oh, yeah. You know, give us shots. Like he cares about us. No way.
But of course, we know that can't happen. And if you did block the sun, there would be catastrophic consequences to that. And so we're going to discuss a lot of the things surrounding this today. And
Yes.
as we move into the vernal equinox, it's very important now that we actually separate the difference between the astronomical aspect or the creator-creatrix spirit from the God concept, which the calendar, the Gregorian calendar, actually represents something that man put together that's in direct opposition to the language of the creator. So again, brother, it's always good to be with you on Monday. Shout out to everybody under the sound of my voice. I know when I see the stripes, I'm in the right place.
Yeah. We're right here, man. We're going to do it. Nothing's going to stop it. That's right.
True.
Thank you.
So one of the first things that come to mind is that we are out of alignment with nature. And when I say we, I'm talking about melanated people, Black melanated people, because, we are always and have always been connected to the sun because we are suns ourselves. But there is a vast difference between the astronomical or the natural concepts that we are, or our ancestors in antiquity always lived by, the natural cycles of the earth, and also that includes the planetary movements. And then we have the calendar, Gregorian calendar, that is set up basically for timekeeping, and it's set up on certain dates that man has decided that's important. And it's funny because I'll go back to that, but the heliacal rising of Sirius is what our original knowledge was based on. And the reason for that is because, again, we lived off celestial language. We interpreted everything, based on the planetary movements, as well as the movements of all of the organisms on Earth, including the plants, the trees. And so everything was included. There was no separation in terms of our spirituality. But this represented the first time each year that the star Sirius becomes visible just before sunrise. And it actually is the marking of the start of the ancient calendar. And as I was saying, it's based on astronomical information, observance, rather than the Gregorian calendar. And so, I always tell this story, Lance, about how I learned this lesson from my mom when she had these flowers clocks called 4 o'clocks, right? And, we would rush home in the springtime to see them, open up. It was fascinating. And they opened up at 4 o'clock every day.
Yeah.
So unbeknownst to, I'm an 8-year-old boy, we rush home. It's 4 o'clock by man's time, the Gregorian calendar and time, right?
Right.
But by the creator's time, it's 3 o'clock. So when the daylight saving went to 5 o'clock and the natural time hit 4 o'clock from the sun, they magically opened. And that's when I first got the comprehension that, okay, there is a natural power and then there's a power that can be, because I started asking questions after that. Well, why does the clock say this?
Right.
And so my mom said, well, that's because, the world doesn't operate off of man's time. It operates off of God's time. And I was like, oh, Okay, I get it now. That makes sense. And so, this is when we say they're not like us, this is what I mean in terms of celestial language. Because the sun, our connection or conjunction with the sun is identical to the conjunction of the planets and the stars to the sun in the solar system. It is the exact same. So, as I said, in contrast, the Gregorian calendar is a modern system of timekeeping used globally, which is man's time, with fixed dates and months, not directly tied to any celestial events. Now, that is the most important statement right there. And I'm going to read it again because this clearly shows you that there is a separation between those of us who operate off of sun energy and those that operate off of some other kind of energy, whatever it is. Okay, whatever that energy is. I know there are several different types now. But yeah, so I'm going to read this again. Now, in contrast to this astronomical event or observation that our ancestors lived by, the heliacal rising of Sirius, the Gregorian calendar is a modern system of timekeeping used globally. And it's based on man's time, which is fixed dates and months, not directly tied to any celestial events. So in other words, it's not connected to the creator creative spirit.
Right.
Okay, like the rising of stars, the heliacal rising of Sirius is a natural astronomical phenomenon, okay, that occurs on a specific date each year, whereas the Gregorian calendar is a human created system for tracking time with set dates and months. And that's very important as we get into the presentation, that we get these two concepts, of polarity in our mind. Okay. Because there is a difference between sun and ice reality or ideology, however you want to look at it.
Yes.
But the cultural significance of this is that a natural calendar keeps us in line with nature. And a timekeeping calendar is an artificial calendar, okay, that tries to mimic nature like everything else that is based on religious concepts. So this heliacal rising happens between mid-August and, if you go as far as September, but our people, and we're going to talk about this too, because this is very, very important, because whenever that time of year came, when that day came, okay, which basically just means equinox, just means that there are only two times in the year, the autumnal equinox and the vernal or spring equinox, where there's equal time in day and night. Everything before that is either more day or more night afterwards.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So the ancient Egyptians, who, as with everything else, mapped out the stars. And so they learned through observation that every year when this star, Sirius, rose, anytime between August 8th, usually around that time, or it could be as early as mid-June, because, that's not fun. It could be as early as mid-June, because what happens is that is where we mark the beginning of our new year. Okay. And this is how we got twisted around, when, and this was done by design because they knew we observed this. When they started studying us and learning from our priests, they gained all this knowledge. They didn't know anything about celestial language, brother. So what happened was the ancient Egyptians, they observed that every time this heliacal rising took place every year, that the banks of the Nile would overflow. And this meant fertile soil, time to plant. This is, so these are things that we learn from the observation of nature. And this is why we are out of alignment with nature and why so many things, happen to us where it seems like it's directed towards us, but it's because we are operating off of man's time that we worship. And so, at the end of the day, there's always going to be an internal conflict because of the law of correspondence. Because as within, so without, as above, so below. And you're connected to this energy system through the sun, like all other things in the universe. And the other thing too is that all of the heliacal risings that take place with planets or stars, they are sorry about that, Lance.
Well, don't worry about that. No,
yeah.
be good.
But they have a connection to the sun, and that's very, very important because that lets us know that these objects, these planets and these stars that have this connection with the sun, lets us know that this is the relationship that we're supposed to have with the universe in terms of how we conceptualize things and not according to the narratives of other people who do not have this ability. And I often say, they're limited to the 90-degree way of seeing things, but we're not. And that's why.
Just add something in. Isn't it something that their total existence has been about learning from us and then disconnecting us? Like they learn from us in a strong connection, powerful connection. And then they want to come with a substitute to give us while mastering what we taught them and everything natural, the food, how to cultivate the food, how to clean themselves, how mathematics, the stars, the celestial body, everything. They took it and hid it from us.
Yes.
And now they're the masters in the educational system to teach us. And what they're teaching us is so watered down in a way what we show. Why would a man who is a multi-billionaire making millions every day, just chilling now, Bill Gates, so interested in killing off the sun, blocking the sun, just giving us substances, say it that way, feel about me. And we don't see this. We look to them for knowledge and the higher learning.
Yeah.
When
Lord,
brother, it's upsets me when we see this.
Yeah. No, you're absolutely right, Lance. Because, see, that's why I always say there has to be some type of sorcery or technology involved with this. I know it is. Because if you just look at the natural processes of the universe and the planet, I mean, it speaks for itself. But yet you let someone else narrate or put spin on some scripts that tell you something different. So you're actually worshiping a man, is what our people don't really comprehend. You're not worshiping the creator of the universe. Let's get that clear. Because clearly man does not have the ability to cause a heliacal rising. I don't know why this is so difficult for our people to comprehend.
Right.
And so I believe it has more to do with the emotional dopamine high we get from this attachment we have with this. I believe it has more to do with that and a few other things. Because as I've said before, you know, in your mind, if you can't conceive of fighting against a God, right? Because that's what's in your subconscious. That's who's in your subconscious, not the real creator. So let's kind of deep dive a little bit into this. The vernal or spring equinox is on the 20th or 21st, the year of the year, which is, according to the Gregorian calendar or man's calendar, the first day of spring. And shout out to my brother Al. I know you're with me somewhere. He's born on the 21st of March. And that's his personality was so. Do you know, out of all the people I met in my life, he is the only person, and I'm not saying this because he's my brother.
Right.
He had a temperament. I have never seen him angry, bro.
Whoa. Wow.
I have never seen him angry.
That's a testimony to him.
Yes.
You know? Special person.
He had like an inner strength. He was quiet, you know, because most of us, you know, we wasn't quiet, but he was quiet. He always carried a quiet, he eluded a quiet spirit. But, you know, whenever he spoke, it was like E.F. Hutton. Everybody got quiet because you knew that he was getting ready to say something that, you know, made sense, not just some jargon out here.
Right, right.
But so this is a very important point as well, that the spring equinox is the spring equinox is on the 20th and 21st of the year, and it's the first day of the spring, according to the Gregorian calendar. It is an astronomical event that happens twice a year, as I was saying earlier, the autumnal equinox, and of course the vernal or spring equinox. And equinox, again, means equa, which means equal, and nox, which means night. Means that these are the only two times. And you know what's interesting? That even twice a day that the clock is synced, at 12 midnight and 12 noon.
Right.
So again, they copied all of this from our ancestors to build this system. But because they didn't want to give them credit, and because the ones who were actually in the spiritual alignment against nature, like it is now, while they hate us so much, they deliberately flipped it because that took away our sun power or our Mount Blackmore power, right? But it is the only time of year, twice a year, where there are equal amount of daylight and darkness. Okay, so this is because the Earth's axis tilts towards or away from the sun. Now, there are many celebrations that are built around this. Okay, all throughout, all cultures, there is some type of event because people realize that this is a celestial event. Okay, so there are, and we'll talk about one. It is the most important in the Western world event, Easter. We're going to talk about that as well.
Yes.
But many monuments around the world were built to reflect this astronomical event, celebrating Egypt, such as Egypt, Asia, England, Stonehenge, and the pyramids of Giza, of the Giza Plateau in Egypt, of course, are aligned, okay, with this. So when you look at when you look at the fact that they have monuments that actually on the earth that are direct, like, you know, like the pyramids and Stonehenge or what have you, you see that, again, early man had this knowledge of connecting with celestial language, right? And the sun. So also, in ancient antiquity, black people lived according to the heliacal rising of the sun and Sirius B, which is the brightest star in the sky. And this placed our beginning of spring somewhere in the neighborhood of, as I said, it could be as early as July, mid-July. But here's some interesting facts about this phenomenon that lets us know that we're out of alignment with natural laws. The southern hemisphere is 10 times more hotter than the northern hemisphere. And this is because this is when the sun is closest to the earth, okay? So here again, we see that even in nature, when the sun is closest to the earth, this is when the most power is released, right? So you in ancient cultures, our people worshipped, you know, Asar coming back south. And so this is how we looked at this process, okay? And during this time, this is while we lived, since you are the closest representation of the sun and celestial energy. Now that didn't sound right when I first said that statement, quoted that statement. Oh, yeah, okay. And yeah, so as I was saying, during this time, we lived for this event every year. Just like, see, we were very patient. This is the other thing too, why they speed up everything.
Mm-hmm.
Because we were very patient. The Dogons had their Sigis every 60 years, and many of them never even lived to see it.
See that?
And they celebrated this. But yeah, they waited 60 years. So our people were very patient. And during that time, they were, you know, building up to that. They knew this event. Could you imagine knowing that? And I always go back to something I heard Dr. John Henry Clark say, that if a billion people did something, even if it was wrong, it's going to have an effect on the planet.
Yes.
And so imagine all of our people, wherever we were, in sync with this cosmic event. Even here on Turtle Island, there's evidence in the Hopi tribe, in ancient, was the Aztecs, and also the Olmec. You can see that all of them had this knowledge. Some of the native tribes here today, they carry this event. They still build up to this event, and they celebrate it. I don't know for how many days. I gotta check.
This is why they want to keep us out of sync and never unified. We have all these different organizations and groups and ideologies, but we're one people.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Because any type of division,
even if there's different cultures. Say it again?
No, I was going to say you're absolutely right, because any type of division is like, you know, cutting into it, the strength of it.
Cut the power. Exactly.
Or the power, to cut the power. Yeah.
But look at it this way.
The way I see, huh?
Oh, I just want to say one thing. We're 13% of the population forever. Every time our numbers grow, they make a new division for others to spill over into.
Right.
How many so-called Latinos are really African?
Half of them, probably more than half.
But if we have,
I would say about 70% of them.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yep. Yeah, you know, that's one of the sad things about that, is that here you have a people that's clearly, okay, melanated and connected to what we are. But imagine that you have to deny this to appease these people who have turned their backs on the real creator-creatrix spirit. But you have to appease them, and if you don't, and if you know, and they're well aware of this.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, a lot of them, like I said, you know, I live around them. I've, you know, spent a lot of years dealing with them. And they have some things that they have not sorted out in their own culture and in regards to their relationship with us. But now the universe is forcing that. They're not going to have a choice with that, because clearly now they're seeing that these people look at them the same way they look at us.
That's right.
And so now this is like a rude awakening, and that when you are melanated to the extent that they are, because when you go back to a certain time in all of their history, they're Black folks. This is not something we're guessing at. We're talking just study genetics. So you could not be here on this planet if you did not come from Black people. Now, right. I want to preface that. If you're a melanated individual, then it is impossible for you to be on this planet without coming through Black people.
That's right.
That's impossible. So, and I can imagine that causes some type of schizophrenia with them. I couldn't imagine having to deny. I couldn't imagine having to deny who I am. And I'm looking in the mirror, okay, and seeing who I am, and having to walk out and connect with some other energy source that, you know, that's something I couldn't do. But of course, you know, everything comes in its time. But yeah, so were you finished with your point, brother?
Oh yeah, yes I did.
Okay, so we're starting to see that whenever the sun, oh yeah, thank you, Christians. This is the point I wanted to make.
Yeah.
Whatever the sun is closest to, and in this case, it's 10 times stronger because it's closest to the southern hemisphere, just like Ghana is located, right? 0 longitude and 0 latitude on the equator, right? So you have this situation where Ghana is the most powerful place on the planet. I don't care what you say. Okay, and this is based on celestial language. So anyway, so we see that it's 10 times hotter because the sun is closest to the earth. And the point I wanted to make is our power is 10 times stronger than anybody else on the planet because, again, we are the closest ones to the sun. You can just look at their banner and see that.
Yes.
Okay, we are the closest ones. So as above, so below. As within, so without. And again, it's to the point where our people don't even want to look at this. I don't know what it is. Well, first of all, the people who have tricked our people in the world, they did it to a point where if you go against this, then you're looked at as some type of a heretic or outside of, you know, because I can remember, you too, Lance, I'm not sure, but you know, my people were like, to my father, the Bible was a literal, you couldn't question him on nothing concerning that.
Right.
And so it creates a type of dogma where you're stuck in this 90 degree of seeing the world. Ain't nobody saying there is no God. We're saying that obviously there is some difference. Yes. And to the extent that that difference exists, we have a right to challenge this. So they don't want you even, and I remember the last time I went to church. That's why I stopped going. When I got up, I told you this several years ago. I got up and I was gonna make a comment about something he said, because to me it was twisted. And so when I gave my interpretation of it, it was like, well, thank you, sir, and you know, we're glad you're here today. And by the way, who did you come with? And I came with a friend. She invited me, and you know, so after the service, all these women came up to my girl Ronnie, and I don't know what they told her, and she said, "I ain't coming back here again, Neil." I was like, "Why? What happened?" She said, "Because they don't want you here again." And I was like, "Really?"
Wow.
So because I questioned one of these things that you're brainwashing our people with, one of these scripts that I knew, that I had heard Mr. Hughes say, Fountain Hughes, about what they did to them in slavery when they didn't quote that. I questioned him on that. I said, do you know how people died because of this? I mean, how can you still preach this to people?
Right.
And you know, he got offended and everything. And Ronnie was pissed. I don't know what they told her. She said, I ain't coming here again. She said, it's unbelievable. And so what happens is, a lot of times, this is why we can't have dialogues with our people. We can't talk about, like today, that's why I'm taking my time explaining the difference. So maybe they'll comprehend it.
They have no choice but to understand it, the way you're breaking it down.
They have no choice. But you know, our people can be very pig-headed and stubborn.
All the time.
And what they'll do is they'll demonize me and you, not knowing that the Spirit is trying to speak to them through us. But they're and they're taught this, to focus on the messenger rather than the message.
Yes. Yes.
And that's why I can, like in my metamorphosis, I don't even have to pay attention to the person. I just listen to what they're saying. And if it's authentic from them, and you should be able to tell the difference, then I'm happy. Because each sun has its own heliacal rising. And this is what our people don't get. This is what they have taken away from you. And so I have a theory that why our, and you've heard me say this before, Lance, but why our people, because our griots used to teach us under trees or down by the riverbanks or any place in nature. But then they build buildings for you to go in and worship. And remember that time I told you I had went to that Catholic, I hadn't been to a Catholic church in like 10 years, because I only go when somebody invite me to certain places. Right. But when I sat in there, and I sat in the back, I didn't want to sit up in the front. And they had the picture of Caesar Borgia on the wall. Yep. And a big one, and they would walk by and they would touch it or kiss it. Then they get the candles. It was like a ritual. Yes. And then these priests would come out in the white robes and chant, and they would regurgitate what he was saying, right? And man, it just felt like I was in some kind of dungeon, like a morbid. Yes. And I'm saying to myself, there is no living fire here. That's right. The world is built on fire. Yes. You see fire everywhere now. Yeah. The world is built on fire. I mean, the spirit is built on fire. Okay. Yes. And so, bro, Lance, it was so, I got cold. I was like, why am I cold? And then I immediately said, I don't want to be judgmental, because I'm sure these people believe they're worshiping God. But there is no way the God of the universe, that sun, is here. There's no way. That's right. And I sat in there for a couple hours, and then what happened was after about an hour, this priest with a black robe came in. He walked in. And so everybody, so they had been standing up when the white priests, I mean, when well, they were white men, but had the white robes on, they were standing up. But when the white robe priest left, and the one with the black robe had their candle and walking down front, they all sat down, like they was bowing down to power. Wow. I was like, because see, I'm like you, I pick up on stuff like that.
Yeah.
We have that gift
ritual
from our mothers. We inherit that gift of intuition or discernment, what they call it.
Yeah.
But so when he walked in with that robe and that candle, they all sat down like in unison. I was like, "Yep, it's time for me to go," because I picked up some kind of energy. I was like, "Yeah, it's time for me to go. It's time for me to go," because I ain't trying to feel nothing like that today. But it taught me a valuable lesson. And so the point I want to make today about this particular issue we're talking about right now in terms of us being a sun, and this is why we affect people around us in the sense that they are planets and stars. You see what I'm saying? And so so you are the closest representation of the sun and celestial energy. But again, you are out of alignment with this, with nature. This is where a lot of our frustrations come from. Okay. And this is where a lot of our anxiety comes from. Because see, with us, it's a natural thing because we're connected to higher, stronger powers, not principalities and powers, not these principalities that have you bowing down. We're connected to the real source of power. And so this is why we have so many ailments in our bodies and in our minds as well, because our spirit mind, or our etheric spirit and mind, is still connected to these forces, but we're fighting against them because of the people that we're connected with that taught us against this. Does that make sense to you, Lance?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's why we have so many problems in the Black community because of this. But because your spring equinox is the direct opposite of the Gregorian calendar. And this is something I admire about Chinese people is they base their culture on their particular heliacal rising or whatever it is that they're looking to in the celestial language. That's what they base theirs on in the new year. Now they'll throw some a little astrology and stuff like that in there, but for the most part, they are staying connected on code with what is in their genetic memory bank.
There you go.
Yeah.
As ice people.
Huh?
As ice people.
As ice people, exactly. So in antiquity, this event signaled rebirth and renewal of nature or in nature, however you want to put it. But this was a cataclysmic event for our people because we knew that the sun, and this is why you hear these crazy people talking about, oh, well, they're pagan worshipers because they worship the sun. Really? Well, no, you're a pagan worshiper because you don't worship the sun. Okay, because you can't, because the sun is your natural enemy. So the time has come for our people. You're either going to be, because the Neteru here, okay, and they're not holding back, as you can see. And I don't wish no ill will on anybody that's going through any type of situation because of nature or what have you. My heart goes out to you. But, I'm looking at what the celestial language teaches me, and unfortunately, innocent people have to suffer as a result of this. That, you know, that's the unfortunate part about it. Because there are things that Black people do that we suffer for, even if we're not involved in it. You know what I mean? They penalize us for it. But so now let's look at the natural cycle of the earth. Okay. Like the seasons, you know, we have the summer and the winter solstice or what have you. When you have the alignment, this is where we get our, what do you call the thing? Eclipse. When you have a alignment of these three elements, right? Then you know, again, that we're dealing with celestial language. So the heliacal rising is when a star has been behind the sun, okay, for a season, and it is just becoming visible again. So let me say that again, because this is very, very important in celestial language. There is a reason why this star, okay, or this planet or star has been behind the sun for a season. There's a reason for that.
Yes.
Okay, because when nothing activates in the universe without that connection to the sun. So when it's time for its heliacal rising to start, then it's going to reconnect with the sun, and then it's going to get the energy it needs to go forward for that season. So, and this is the process that we're supposed to be following. Okay. That's why, like that show you did on you know, celebrating these holidays is so critical, because all of this is, and I'm going to give an example of that, so we'll see. But all of that has a great impact on some people, and these are forces that we don't control. But you've been told by people who have a God complex that they can control this. They cannot. Right. The only way they control it is if you give them control over it, which we always do. But, you know, our people are coming out of that. I see this fire, this release of this living fire now emerging, and it's making a difference. And I'll give you an example. Because you and I again talked about this, Lance. I don't know of anything that we haven't talked about, but Martin Luther King is a great man, right? However, that is not what gave our people the freedom that they deserved and desired. It was when they shut that city down for 368 days or 69 days. And it shut down the fiat for the Luciferians. It wasn't until that happened, okay, until they start giving our people what they justly deserve. But the interesting thing about that was our people organized what you know today as Uber, okay? And a lot of this stuff, even to this day, they still learn from our people. They copied this.
Of course.
Our people, they did not take the cabs, the buses. Some of them were willing to walk. Now, remember, they are being threatened by the KKK, too.
Yeah.
So you see what our ancestors have sacrificed while we have no time to be out here shucking and jiving and acting a fool. Man, it's a lot of blood in this soil that have been shed for you. But you let these people downplay because somebody say something about there is no Black History is every month. and it's the most significant history in the history of America. Not just North America, but the Americas.
That's right.
So, yeah, our people organized under threat of death every day. Some of them lost their jobs, had to move in with their neighbors. Of course, you know, they had the barter system. That's what saved them. Because if they had depended on this fiat like they do us today, when they cut that off, you're up shit's creek. Because you're not going to be able to borrow any money. And I just heard that the bank, the banks here are closing anyway. But it was something about closing people's accounts. I heard something. I didn't get the full gist of it. Because it really don't, you know, it doesn't matter to me, because we are supposed to, like the Pied Piper, we're supposed to be moving by the sound of a different drum. So while you're following a piper, we're supposed to be following the drum. See, you have to know who you are. Our people communicated, and so when they first started the Zulu Wars, the invaders were so frightened when they heard the drums beating, because they knew
what time it was
coming at your ass. That if you're not prepared, and they don't show this, because see, they didn't just come in and take our lands. Now our people fought valiantly. I think the Ashanti Wars, well, the Zulu Wars lasted, I don't want to say how long, but it was maybe 100 years. I'm not sure. I need to go back and look at that. It's been a minute. But the thing is even here, the Black Seminoles fought them. The Cherokee fought them. Okay. The Yamasee fought them. They didn't lay down. And then after they slaughtered our people in the Manifest Destiny and moved west, and this is all true history, real history, so you can get upset with me all you want. This is real history that they don't teach in the history books. Then the Buffalo Soldiers had to protect them, which was over 100,000 Buffalo Soldiers. 33,000 of them gave their lives. This is why it's so asinine what they do to our people. Protecting. I forgot how long they were in Texas, and they were on that frontier. They all the way from Canada all the way down to Mexico. In fact, what was the chief from Mexico? He was getting ready to run roughshod through General Houston, Santa Anna, and what was the other? Not Santa Anna. I can't think of his name. Pancho Villa. If those Buffalo Soldiers didn't run him back to Mexico, it would have been we would have a different history. So you see, brother, this is what they don't talk, why they don't want to teach. And so this is at the root cause of why, not only why they hate us so much, but also they know who the real heroes are and the sheroes are. You take a man like Bass Reeves, who the real character of the Lone Ranger was made after. A black man, Bass Reeves, became, you can Google him, he became one of the most feared marshals, federal marshals in U.S. history. And the story goes that he beat up his plantation owner and said, I ain't staying here, and left. And then, you know, because he had this ability, you know, with the hands, you know, he became attached with, you know, okay, well, we're going to fight against the people that's trying to destroy our community. And he had a relationship with Tonto. I don't know if that was a real name, Tonto, but he had a relationship with a Native American from a different tribe. Yeah, that story was based on that, Bass Reeves. So you see, all of this is done to make our people feel inferior, but we're not going to let that happen. So we're looking at the natural cycle of the earth, the heliacal rising. And as I said, it's when a star has been behind the sun for a season and is just becoming visible again. And I often think to myself, so when this star is invisible, why? It's invisible because it's not connected to the sun at that point. So that's just like with us. Your gift is invisible. Your ability to do things is invisible, or manifest things is invisible, because you're still hiding behind your sun. Okay? Whereas in nature, with the celestial language, you come out from behind the sun after a season. So, and again, going back to our ancestors and what their concepts were in Kemet, that this is when Asar aligns with Aries, which is a fire star. So you see all of these things happening, the fires, everything that's going on, is because we're in a season and a cycle of celestial language that we don't see because we're out of alignment with nature. But so when this alignment takes place between Asar and Aries, okay, this is our people knew, and this is why they call it the mystery system, because they could not comprehend this. So so our Memphite priests had to teach them, okay, because you're not connected spiritually, that doesn't change the cycles of the earth. Okay, you can make up whatever you want, like that 4 o'clock flower. That's not going to change when it opens. But you can manipulate people's minds to see something different. Okay, so so when Aries, this fire star, aligns with a fellow fire star sign like Sagittarius, it fuels an explosive energy. And we're going to see an example of that. I'm going to give an example. That's why it only takes 2 or 3 of us, brother. It don't take a whole lot of us to be aligned together. Okay. And if we're truly aligned together, it's going to be an explosion. We see that in nature. It's going to be a fire explosion. Okay. Because you have these fire ions, okay, that is connected to that sun. This is why astrology was used to switch you from astronomical or celestial language. And March 20th and 21st is recognized instead of, mid-July, August, September in your heliacal rising. And a lot of times, and I do this a lot myself, I connect with certain elements and just to feel the power of it, because you can do that. Okay, but there's nothing that has more an effect. When I love getting out and vitamin D and looking at the sun, because there's nothing like connecting with the sun. So, again, this when we see Asar, or Osiris, which the Greeks renamed Osiris, is depicted as a green deity because, again, he is the representative of nature on earth. And this is the time when everything in nature is revitalized. Now, there are a couple of interesting things about fire. Fire, our ancestors knew the spiritual significance of fire. Fire needs oxygen and fuel to survive. Okay. And I remember when we used to go out and with the National Guard, and we'd have to dig these holes, these trenches, big trenches, so that the fire didn't have no fuel to have more oxygen, right? To keep going. And it was, well, I'll tell you, it was something. But when you feel that heat from that fire and that smoke, oh, it's real. You know it's real. But yeah, fire needs oxygen and fuel to survive, and so do you. And without these two elements, the fire will die out, and your fire will die out. So what are these two elements in terms of our fire? It's your etheric spirit. That's the first thing. The second one, the fuel, is natural or organic food, non-GMOs. So when you violate this principle, and once I became into the knowledge of this, and yeah, it's fine to pray for people. Okay, that's fine. I don't like people praying for me, but it's fine. But so I had a friend. She was telling me that well, her and her husband was telling me that they kind of, this person from I don't know what kind of organization they were involved in, but they were in the hospital, and they were unhealthy because of their eating habits,
right?
And they had gained a lot of weight, and then they start developing all these other problems. But then you're going to go to the hospital and ask the Creator, and you spent, I don't know how long, violating divine laws. There's a natural karma that comes when you violate divine dietary laws. Even your wife talks about that, right? When you violate these laws, there's a natural karma. And I don't care if you got goddamn 1 million people standing around you praying, it's not going to change anything. And see how people get upset when we deal with truth, okay? They get upset with us and they get angry at us. But now we have to bring our people out of this fog, brother. This is our only hope. Because if you're not encouraging the people that you know, and I'm not saying I slip up a lot, but in my mind every day, I know that I have to make a conscious effort to eat right. Right?
Yes.
And if I don't, there are going to be consequences from that. First of all, I'm not going to have the energy I need to accomplish anything. My body's not going to get the nutrients, the sugar it needs, the proteins, none of that. All you're going to get is calories. The other thing is the fried foods, okay, which has us on high blood pressure, and the pork.
Yep.
And see, you and to my religious friends, I'm not saying this to be nasty or insensitive. I'm just telling you, we got to change the way, because now we're teaching our children the same thing, so they're going to be stuck too.
They're going to do the
now,
same.
If you're saying you're praying for somebody in the sense that you're pouring out your spirit for something, but now if you're saying you're praying to a God, or whoever you're praying to to heal this person who have violated spiritual laws for I don't know how long, could be all their life.
Right.
Then you are contradicting the natural laws that we are supposed to live by. And this is the result of this. And, you know, I'm not going to say what I'm thinking because I don't want people to be angry at you, Lance, or, you know, they're going to be angry anyway. But at the end of the day.
No. You can say it. You can say it.
Yeah.
Because if you hear some of my shows before.
I know. But rather than you talking about you praying for somebody, why don't you say, hey, look, man, what you eating? You know, are you exercising? You know,
right.
You know, and so this takes away, what happens is, so now you're putting the onus for what you're supposed to be living by on an outside entity. So that means immediately, well, you know, and people who think this way, the first thing that come out of their mouth, because I say it too sometimes, you know, that's why I don't like to really conversate, because you can't have butterfly conversations with caterpillar people. Oh, it is what it is, you know. Yeah, we know it is what it is, but what are you going to do to change it is what it is? See, that type of thinking is a 90-degree way of seeing life. You have to think. That's why you were given a brain. Okay? You have to think. You have to rationalize things. Okay? You have to look at things because your etheric spirit is the one that does this, and your etheric mind. And all you got to do is look into yourself. And this is at the root of self-hatred too, by the way. This is at the root of self-hatred. So yeah, so you know, you need those two. You need that oxygen and you need that fuel, just like real fire does. Moving right along, because when we start talking about living fire and the neteru of fire, then we're talking about how the cycles of the world or the cycles of the planet affect these different elements and the manifestation of these elements. And again, this release is more closely related to Black people because we have the strongest melanin, okay, that is connected to the sun, to this melanin energy that, or they want to call it dark energy or whatever, this power that exists in the universe. And give an example, massive black holes birth quasars. And one quasar, the light of one quasar blinds out all of the other billion stars in the galaxy. And that's what you are, but you don't know that.
Yes.
But that quasar came out of a massive, not white hole, not brown hole. It came out of a massive black hole.
Yes.
Okay. See, all of this, celestial language is very important to our people, but they have taken this away from us. And so we live off of scripts. I write my own scripts. I don't read nothing. I'll look at something when I'm doing research, and then I'll make my own comprehension and put it in my own words.
Yes.
Because the one thing we have to recognize is, I would say 75% of the people on the planet, they're definitely here in Keeblan, here in, well, all over the place, okay? Everywhere that our people are. We are bound by these scripts, okay? There's no way to get beyond that. This is a fact that we have to look at. And nobody's telling you that you don't have to believe in Christ. Okay, we believe in Christ. KRST, this is where this came from. Okay. But you have to know that the people that you're worshiping copied this from you. Okay, you have to know this and stop teaching our children this, because it has to stop somewhere. Because they're going to be in a world of trouble, because now they're thinking, because you're telling them this person loved them so much, and all they got to do is quote their name, that is not the truth. That is not the truth. And that's going to destroy their ability to sit down with each other and look at truth and then come up with a game plan to to have a defense against this. But when you're teaching them that because you're kumbayaing and that these people that show nothing but hate against us, that they are going to be tricked like you are. They're going to be fooled into believing that somebody loves and cares about them until it's too late.
That's right.
And that's what happens this has been happening to our people, man. This is, I don't know, man. I ain't even going to give that no more energy, but at the end of the day, now we have to look at our heliacal rising. We can no longer live according to the Gregorian rising. And first of all, it came out of the Justinian calendar. And when you look at who these people are and what their philosophies on life was, you'd be like, really? That's what I'm following? See, our people don't do that. They get the Bible and they go to church, and then somebody preaches the same thing to them that and then they don't want to think for themselves, because you have this individual that's telling you this. I don't know. You just have to focus on our own heliacal rising, okay? I'm through with these people that's deceiving our people and all of that. But when you have this release of this living fire that's in us, this is when we have the most power. And it's based on action with this fire. So when as I was saying, the Montgomery bus boycott had a very great significance for our people. Okay. And that is because they unified. They said that the hell with the system. You're not going to continue to treat us inhumane, the Klan are killing our people, and you talking about, how much you love us. No, we're not going to be regulated to the back of no damn bus anymore. Okay. And we're going to show you. And man, I'm telling you, that is the longest boycott in history. It was very effective, but that energy that I'm talking about right now, when they decided to collectively come together, man, it's nothing else on the planet like it. It's like a nuclear bomb. And it's nothing that can stop it. Because nothing operates without the sun. That's you. And the sooner you realize this, the further on we can, collaborate and move things forward. So let's talk about something that I want to give an example of something. Maybe I'll come back to that. But I want to talk about, now I wanted to give an example of the origin of Easter. Okay, the origin of Easter also has its roots in this astronomical event. Okay, now, again, anytime we look at real truth, not what you've been narrated and told, and our people want to keep a blind eye to the truth, then they get angry with us. But I'm going to tell you this today, and I'm going to tell you the origin of Easter is not what you have been told. Okay? And you can Google this, or do however you do your research, okay? And find this out for yourself. But this astronomical event, as I said, has been celebrated in all cultures around the world. But specifically, the Germanic goddess, Eostri, or the name she's known by more popular is Astara. And this is a German goddess. And she is the goddess of dawn or rising. You see now where these concepts come from? So she is known as the goddess of the dawn or the rising, and she is celebrated to bring fertility, renewal, and rebirth on the earth. The origins of this pagan ritual, while they're trying to say ours is, the origins of this pagan ritual of the Easter bunny. That's why I always tell, don't have your children out there looking for no damn eggs. Okay?
For real.
You don't know what power you're getting involved when you get involved with these rituals.
Exactly.
Unbeknownst to you. Now, the origins of this pagan ritual of the Easter bunny, Astara, the Germanic goddess of spring, it is because she transformed a bird into a rabbit or a hare. And the hare or the rabbit responded by laying colored eggs for her festival. Okay? This is the true origin of Easter. I know you've been taught that this is when, I don't want to say that name, but when Christ rose, okay? I know this. All of our people believe this. But when you participate in these rituals, what you don't know is, not only are you in direct opposition to your divine power and the creator creatrix power, but now you might as well have on a robe like P. Diddy and them standing in somewhere and have candles and have somebody in the middle of the room in a coffin. You might as well do all of that.
Exactly.
Because what you don't realize is this origin came out of Germany. You can look it up for yourself. Don't believe what I'm saying. I don't have anything against of them. But see, all of this is tied into the energy that you're dealing with today. All of this is tied into this energy. Okay. So at the end of the day, when you participate in these rituals, whereas some rabbit responded to the German goddess Astara because she transformed it from a bird to a rabbit, this was like, saying, I guess, thank you, or, some type of tribute or reward, laying colored eggs. So our celestial language, the heliacal rising of Sirius, the brightest star in the cosmos, was the concept ancient Egyptians noticed that the heliacal rising of the star Sirius would occur a short time before the annual flooding of the Nile, as I said earlier. And scientists have found, that's something else I want to talk about. So this is something that happened every year, this event, and this is why people knew, automatically that there was going to be, that the Nile banks were going to overflow, and also there was going to be fertile soil. Now, last thing I want to point out here is the release of the living fire. So they have what they call the Earth's ring of fire, right? Now, 90% of all earthquakes happen here. And it's huge. It's an arc of 25,000 miles surrounding the Pacific Ocean. I just saw a story about Japan is dealing with fire as well. Some type of event is going on there, catastrophic event. But this ring of fire, or this arc of 25,000 miles surrounding the Pacific Ocean is South America, Alaska, Russia, Japan, Southeast Asia, and New Zealand. So I'm going to talk about a process, okay, that is going to shed some light on what I believe our ancestors who have transitioned are involved in. You don't have to believe it. This is just my concept of it. I have certain things that I look at that kind of validates this for me. But this ring of fire, what happens during this process is that there's an acceleration of climate change. One is because they have depleted the ozone layer. It has a lot to do with it as well. But our ancestors, they fuel the pressure of magma and molten rock. Okay, they put this pressure there. Okay, they are in this process. Okay, and they cause this pressure of magma and molten rock, and they also cause the buildup of gas in molten rock. And this produces mass explosions. Okay, so whenever you see an explosion of fire, I believe that this process, that our ancestors are involved in this process. They are in the waters that are deep in the earth. Okay, and they create, again, this pressure, the same thing, that creates magma, as I said, that causes massive explosions. Now, in this process is when these cellular organisms that are known as plankton, and these cellular organisms, again, I believe, is our ancestors, okay, who have transitioned. Because see, they got you thinking they some kind of ghost somewhere, and no, they're active they are the Netaru. They're active in nature, in all forms of nature. Fire, water, air, trees, insects, plants, flowers, soil, beneath the earth, on top of the earth, in the air, you name it. Okay, you name it. So when these cellular organisms die, the plankton, it increases the carbon in the air because they all sink to the bottom of the ocean, right? So here we have a corresponding event to when the earth, the sun is closest to the earth and causes it to be 10 times hotter. Well, you see the same type of process in the earth, in the bowels of the earth, and in the water, okay? Where when they sink to the bottom and they release carbon dioxide, and this is the chemical signature of these organisms, these microscopic organisms, which are also found in volcanoes. And scientists have found the chemical signature of microscopic organisms, I'm talking about our ancestors, inside the volcanoes through this melanated cellular energy. So as we approach this event now, this is a very, actually, it depending on how you maneuver during this time, it can produce certain things for our people. But certainly we know that the months of July, August, and September are our strongest months. Okay, we as melanated people. Whereas where you've been taught through the unnatural process, through timekeeping and following dates and calendars, that you are told that this is the spring equinox. And with that, brother, I'll conclude today.
Yes, brilliant. Brilliant teaching tonight.
Yes,
as
sir.
Always.
Yes, sir. You know,
thank you so much.
This, you know, the difficult part about this is now how could I say this? Retraining the mind of adults in the sense that you can still hold. So Black people, we don't have a choice. We're spiritual by nature. You're always going to worship the creator of the universe. It's the way in which you do it that that causes issues for our people. Okay, because 12 o'clock on Sunday is still the most segregated hour in America. Now, why is that? And see, these people are aware of celestial language in the sense that they know that they have to fight against it. So anytime they see something that's indicative of celestial language, then they have to put a reverse spin on it. That's why I say they teach us in reverse, because they know 12 o'clock is a very important hour, okay, in celestial energy, right? So they want to make a distinction between where they worship, to try to let you know, just like when they used to baptize you in those other rivers, to let you know that you're not serving the same God that they are segregated with and serving. That couldn't be any plainer to me, brother. I don't know. That is
doesn't rocket scientists. We're so emotional about religion, and we can't see how hypocritical things are that supposedly you say, not you, but they at that time, that there's one God we worship, but we're segregated, and you're killing us off, lynching us, raping us, doing all these different things, working us, no pay. We're 3/5 of a human being, not even that much, but we worship the same God. So whose side is God on?
Well, I tell you what, can you put that banner up there one more time, Lance?
Oh, sure. By all means.
They're not like us, okay, bottom line. Yeah, they're not like us. Nobody's hate. See, we don't hate other people because of who we are. They hate us because of who we are. We didn't make this the way it is. Oh, I like that Black Rushmore.
Yes.
That Black Mount Rushmore. But you know, that sun behind our people says it all right there. That's a mic drop right there. So,
but isn't it something that when you're in the church, window of supposedly Jesus Christ, there's always a sun behind him? Isn't that something?
Yes, this is what man, that is an excellent point. I'm glad you brought that up, because that was copied from this.
Yes, because the sun is our power, the sun is our battery. Let me tell you something about vitamin D. Well, vitamin D is only one thing that we know of, that, but they're known and unknown nutrients
That's right.
Yeah. And the way they get fed is not just from food. We need the sun because there's a spiritual nourishment that comes from the sun. It may appear
Celestial battery. Yes.
physical, but the calming effect, you know, I mean, when you're on these jobs inside a cubicle, inside an office with fluorescent lights, or working the night shift, you do not feel the same as when you're working out in the sun. What do people crave when they work 50 weeks out of the year and they get that 2-week vacation? They want to go to the Caribbean. They want to go to the beach. They don't want to go up north where it's cold and let me just sit inside in the hotel room. They want nature. They want to put their feet in the soil. Do you know how good it
That's
feels
right.
when you're walking on the beach and your feet are in the soil and the sun and the breeze on you? You feel, what? Look, I get that every day. You know what I mean? And it's
That's right.
free.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? I'm at
Yeah.
0 latitude, 0 longitude, strongest of the earth. And I get this every day. And nothing
Right.
beats it. But why would Bill Gates want to block the sun? Especially when he wants to
Good question.
do things to Africans with his substances. I'll say it that way. That
Yeah.
tells you that this is a powerful thing, that
Yeah.
they can replicate it and they want to keep you from it so you can be destroyed. So let's
Oh,
get
yeah.
more sun because it's
Oh,
going to
yeah.
piss them off because you see, the sun burns them. The sun doesn't welcome them. The sun don't like them. You see what I mean?
Wow.
So this is how we get our nourishment. Yes, we get in all of the plants, the mangoes, the watermelons, the avocados, the things growing underground. Where does it get its nourishment from? Yeah, we need water, we need soil, but it's the sun.
Yes. Absolutely. 1000%. And without that sun, ain't nobody getting no nourishment.
That's
I
right.
don't care who you are. Without that sun, you're not getting no nourishment, bro.
That's right.
And so these are the things that moving forward now in 2025 that we have to come to grips with. Okay.
Mhm.
And I know that one of the real tricks that have been played on our people is that when you claim your power and your essence and who you are, that means that you are against other people. But see, that's how it is for them. But they have put this energy on Black people, and so this is why we have so many issues navigating just something that it seemed like it's simple for us to be able to work together and do things. We have a
Right.
problem because we're out of alignment with nature. First of all, we're out of alignment with each other. So if we would recognize, that's why I still advocate that when we greet each other, we greet each other with salutations. Yes, sir. Or what's the other one? How you doing today, King? How you doing today, Queen?
Right. It reinforces the positive.
Yes. And see, this is sun energy. But when they take this sun energy from you, then you start seeing the negative behavior in communication, because now you're supposed to have your heliacal horizon, but you're still hiding behind the sun. So you're in darkness. But the minute you have that heliacal horizon and you come around and connect with the sun again, then bam. So every time you are beefing and fighting with other Black people, you are destroying this power, your own power.
That's right.
And this is the depth of where they have taken our people, brother. And it's such a, but we're going to have to acknowledge that, because if we don't acknowledge it and come together, there's going to be a heavy price to pay. And it's going to be to the point. This is what they really want. Why they don't want us connected, why they're taking everything away, because they're saying, okay, well, let's take it away before they wake up. That's why they always demonize this word woke. We're still not awakened totally, okay? Because with all this BS they doing, we should be trying to organize with black folks where we walk by one. Now, I'm not saying you can connect with everybody, but at least see if there is a connection. The other thing, too, is the way that the sun operates is it touches all things. Photogenesis, it touches all. So you might meet a person that's not compatible with you, but they can lead you to another person. A lot of times that happens. You ever met a person who was actually, you didn't know it at the time, but you eventually found out that they were there to lead you to somebody else? I know you experience
all the
that
time.
a lot.
Yeah.
See, you think that initial, because that initial contact is the Luciferian energy sending at us because they know what's coming. They can read it. They don't know exactly what it is, but they know the energy is there in the electromagnetic spectrum. They can feel it. So they immediately start working to cut this off. Because now it's like when you have a hot wire and I don't care how hot that wire is, if you don't have a ground wire, guess what? It's going to cause a problem. So now I understand and I comprehend that the knowledge of operating with just a hot wire our people have, like the young brother in Africa, where you don't need that ground. But the reason why people here in America need the ground is because they have dumbed down us so much that if we don't get grounded with something that can bring us back to nature, we're gonna fall off the path.
That's right.
So I know it's late there, brother. And
no, I'm good, brother. I'm good.
You all right? Okay.
I'm good.
Right.
I'm home. I'm in my studio. I'm home. It's not like I have to drive across town to get back home, and I'm home, man. I can lay back here and fall asleep just like this. It's nice. I'm home.
Oh, man,
I'm relaxed.
You got it, man.
It's the best setup for me. I don't have to leave to do my work. I'm right at home. I can take a break. I can look over the mountains, come back, take a nap on the couch. Couches over there.
Yeah.
Get something to eat, chill. I can just create all day. I wrote 2 articles today earlier. I might write one after this.
That's on the
Substack.
That's on the what's the app you have now?
Substack.
Yeah, I'm on there.
You get it. If I put it up, it goes to your email. That's why I tell everybody to go there and drop the email address. Everything we do, including this, I'm going to put this up. I'm going to download it off my program, put it right on up. Nothing can stop that from happening, and I'm so happy.
Hey,
independent.
About something. That's great, man. The moves you're making are great, man, and it takes a person that's smart enough to recognize before they shut you down on all ends that you have to have other, avenues. But
that's right.
The thing I'm curious about in the motherland, do they still acknowledge our natural concepts like the heliacal rising? I'm sure they do in some aspect. But is it because I know?
Yes, I'll say yes. But there's a lot of ignorance here, and I wouldn't just say ignorance. I'll say disconnect.
Okay.
Because the schooling here has been infiltrated to push something else. You see, the Europeans that came and those who came to enslave us, they took some of us, but many of us, if not most of us here, who were originally here, they didn't just let them go on with what they were doing. They had to get to the mind. And so this is why here in the courts, you have them wearing the blonde wigs in the courts, just like,
What you mean like the justice system courts?
Yes.
What?
And this is why Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, he stopped all of that. He said, nah, you ain't putting no blonde wig, because
for real.
Like I say, I'm not knocking my sisters, But when you wear that blonde wig and that blonde weave, that's a sign of surrender. That's a sign of subservience. That's a sign that you waving the white flag. I'm no threat. I'm sold out to you. I'm sold out to your system. So a lot of the traditional ancestral things are cut here. And we have a lot of frauds who pretend to be on that level.
Oh, like they
It's
call
watered
themselves
down.
prophets and apostles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's all about church, and they're disconnected, thinking that they're connected to this thing. But it's shocking because if you look at how folks operate with each other, it's the alternative energy, just like you said with the clock and the time. It's not our thing. It's somebody else's thing.
Right.
So they cut that power.
Oh yeah, they cut that power
big time. You know,
they definitely cut that power.
Yeah.
And that's why your boy want to block the sun.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be the final punch.
Oh yeah. But now the other thing that came from that is the realization that, okay, I don't know what I was thinking, but I'm a measly ant compared to this power. And not even an ant. So they know who the real power is. It's just that they do keep us thinking. They want to keep us in fear of them and their pseudo power, because it's not real power.
Away from their pseudo power. They want to keep us in fear from making the leap from their manufactured pseudo power and scared of the real thing.
To separate from it.
Right. Because we have our intuition that is still connected to the real thing, but our heads are so shrouded in the artificial thing that when a little bit of the signal comes through and we see that it works, our head tells us something different because we see everything around us in this engineered world and that's the way it is. But if we leave away from it and say, no, let me be, and look, today, I had to go down into the town earlier. And when I woke up, I had my plans. But then I said, okay, let me wait for the download. What should I do? I'm quiet here. I'm still here. It comes to me easy. I went out on the balcony, laid out in the sun, and I didn't hear a voice. I downloaded the instructions, and it said, go to this particular spot, do this, get out of downtown quick, and get back here. And I heeded the call, and everything went so smooth. So smooth. We had a really intense rainstorm that I said, okay, the power went out for a little while. I said, it's going to be all right. I couldn't even make a phone call out because my internet was off. But 30 minutes before this show, everything bam, and it's quiet, and you would have never known it rained. And that's how it goes. So me now, I'm out of that. I'm out of that so-called traditional artificial engineered thing. I'm just like any one of the ascended animals out in the wild. They don't have a refrigerator. They don't have a clock. They only know the sun comes up and it goes down, and they go by the sun. If they get hungry, they know what to eat. They don't actually know it on paper, but intuitively. So that's how I live. And that's why I know the moves that I made, the things that are thrown at me. Is it a shock? I'm prepared for it. See? So I know how I have to move, and I'm a trailblazer right now in what I do online and the way I do it, although most people don't. This is why my enthusiasm is up with the writing and the art. Like I said, I wrote 2 long articles today. I want to write another one. As soon as it hits my head, boom, 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 boom. And I got my way of doing it. I don't have to sit here. It's like electricity. You know how electricity comes? Have you ever had a lightning bolt come inside your house and hit a light or get in front of you and hit? By the time you jump, it's gone. It hits you and it's gone.
Oh
So the
yeah.
ideas hit me. I have to be open to it and cleanse of the old way of doing things that they try to teach us in school. No, your brilliance will come out when you unearth and get away from the old way of thinking that they put on your head to keep the natural, which they think is supernatural, secretly. No, it's not. It supernatural to them is our natural.
That's right.
That is our natural.
That's right.
And you're
Yeah.
calling it supernatural. So you're saying that we're super over you. Yes, we are. Because the things that you try to put over our head only reduces us.
Right.
I'm not be reduced from this point on. At this point of the race, you know, you have you're 10 years old, 20 years old, you get into the school thing. Now you got to pull that thing off because your intuition is always right. At 30, 40, 50, I'm 62 in a month. And from this point to 80 and beyond, I'm getting it. I'm getting it flowing. I don't want to see nothing about this engineered world. Don't tell me nothing. Watch what I do. Not because of me, but because I'm connected to that thing. Like you said, you're nothing but an ant compared to that. But when you allow it to flow through you, you're a juggernaut. You're a tank.
Bingo. Yes.
See? So watch. I'm connected, and I'm not going to lose that connection. There's nothing up here to take me from that connection. That's
right.
why I purposely came out here, because I wanted that centeredness and that presence of mind.
Yeah.
I'm here now.
Yeah.
I couldn't take the old stripes with me from the old house, so I put up the new ones.
Oh yeah.
Built
You
better.
can't tell the difference, really.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I understand. I'm just saying it's the thought of it.
Yeah.
And it's not the physical location. It's here.
Oh, right.
Your mind and what you create out of your mind.
Yeah.
There was those little bushes and trees and all this cutting down and whatever. Boom. You manifest what's inside of you. And you can't let anything external stop you from manifesting what your destiny, what your encoding is. See?
That's right.
What your DNA tells you. Your genetic information tells you that you're supposed to be great. You 12 foot and fit it in a size 5 shoe. You're reducing yourself by being in the system.
Yeah.
And when you buy it for so long, and things come to you, and you just people don't want to get to the end of the line again to relearn themselves because they've been in this thing so long. So Brother Neil Frazier, Metamorphosis, will go and sit down in the church and say something. Now, I don't want to hear that because I heard something that's true and it hit me, but I want to bury myself more because I can't see myself coming up out of this hole that I'm in, and I don't want to admit it because I spent so much time in it. I'm not in it. A lot of people. Let me be an eyeball. A lot of people, after a while, they'll realize. I'm not saying I'm 100% correct because I'm still on the journey.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But if I was a slave, I'm so far from the plantation. I'm not still on it, hoping I can leave. I left.
The dog stopped running. The dog stopped running behind you to find you.
Yeah, the dog.
They're like, yeah, that he's gone. We're not gonna catch him. I don't know. You might have to hire some slave catchers because right now we lost his scent. The bloodhounds lost his scent.
And if another dog from another plantation sees me and has that look in there, I'm gonna look right at him. You are not gonna defeat me. I don't care how big you are, how many dogs around you. I'm running through you. It's like the Matrix. If I give up, they'll smell it. If I have fear, they'll smell it.
Yes.
Like I said, when we were in Orlando, went to the airport in Atlanta, and we left Atlanta that night to come to Amsterdam to then come to Accra. That's the last time I was in America, September 15th, 2020. And when I was in the plane going up, and I looked down at the lights in Atlanta, I don't know Atlanta that well, but Georgia, and we're going up, and the thought, I said, man, I can visit, but this is it. Mm-hmm. I can't now go back to America. I couldn't afford it. And I don't care about that because what I have here, I can't get back there.
Right.
This centered thing, this energy, not worrying about all these bills. I slashed my overhead to next to nothing. Only money is to just build whatever. After that, the goal is to live without money, to reduce your need, to reduce your overhead. If a person has $5,000 a month, well, try to make it 3. Try to make it 2020. Bring it down to 15. If I can live on 400 and 300 and 200 and 150, let's make it down to none. Get your greenhouse, grow your for a structure that's paid for. Get your solar energy. Spend on things that you don't have to buy anymore, so that your monthly output is next to nothing or nothing, so they don't have a hand on you and a grip on you that you got to stay in a system and slave to get the money to get, because all you're doing is being a middleman. I'm giving up life force to this paper, and I'm giving it to these other people to just have a few hours at home, maybe not even enjoying these amenities because you're stressed out. You're thinking about, you're always calculating. I can get up one day. I'm not even bragging. I'm just saying I'm still in the system, y'all. I'm still in the system, but where the dogs had all my legs bit up, they just got one dog biting on my ankle right now. And I'm about to shake him off. And I can get up and say tomorrow, maybe I'm going to take a long walk down the side of the mountain for miles, dozens of miles if I want to walk down there and take one of the vans back. If I want to do that, I'll do that. If I want to wake up and I'm going back to bed, or lay on the balcony naked, or that balcony naked and lay out in the sun. See, with me, they can't say where the sun don't shine because I make the sun shine everywhere. I want to get all that sun.
Right.
That's why I'm fired up all the time. Because I'm in solitude. I'm with my thoughts. I'm with the connection. I don't have the distractions. This is like a boxer in training camp. He's not hanging out going to the discos. He's not even with his family. He's up in the mountains sparring, eating good, talking a game plan, and getting in the bed early. Get up and get the sun. I'm in boot camp. I'm in training camp, and I love it because there's nothing against what I want. On fire all the time.
Man, you got that fire. I know one thing. Yeah, I feel that fire because, without that, you pretty much, and see, that's what they want to douse our people. They want to douse the fire. And this is why they continue to do things to affect you emotionally. Oh, DEI, cut. Oh, fire black folks, cut. But the thing is now they're realizing that this doesn't apply to us.
Right.
This is what I call a pan-European war. Because they want us to feel this. It's actually the root cause or reason why they have this thought and why they want to do it, because they're looking at destroying black folks. So we're going to do this and it's going to hurt them. But at the same time, okay, you're hurting people that's right on the edge that are not black, okay?
Right.
And it's far more of them, it's 100 times more than them than us. So you see, that tells me something about you too. So you're willing to take down maybe 25 to 30% of your people just to hurt us.
Yeah.
That's something when you think, just to hurt us now. Because when they thought that DEI meant firing all black people, oh, they was happy then. Nobody was saying anything.
Right.
When they got that nigga wake up card, that, oh no, we talking about you too, then that changed everything. Then, everything changed after that. Because I like I said, I watch Energy, and I saw how they really thought that this was going to be directed towards us. They really felt that. Yes. I mean, because, when you live this long in America as a black man or a woman, then these dog whistles. And the hardest thing is to hear the coons regurgitating it. But the thing is we know you're doing this to try to hurt our community. We know this. But this time the creator creates experience that, you're going to feel the fire this time. We're going to make you feel the fire. Because the reversal has already happened now. there's nothing that can change this. It's like they say, the cat is out of the bag now.
That's right.
And we're going to survive. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
Our
And
whole
thrive.
life,
Not just survive, but thrive.
and thrive.
And the enemies
Because
will
you
be
know
in
something?
amazement. They'll be watching how the heck we threw everything at them.
Yeah,
Even
you
now,
know,
they're still thinking that.
our greatest accomplishments came after our biggest, I don't want to say defeats, but we
I
had to take
understand.
an L. We had to take an
Mhm.
L. And like the phoenix, the mythical phoenix rising out of the ashes, Black folks have always done that.
And I identify with that in my own personal life.
Oh,
I
yeah,
identify with
me
that.
too. Oh, yeah. You know, I know you do. Because, and you know what's so crazy is they recruit people from our own people to do this to us. This is the crazy part about it.
And they're willing to do it.
Oh, they're willing to do it. But
And it's very arrogant in the process of doing it. Like, yeah, we know we're gonna shoot this one down and he'll never come back. So now that they shut their load and you know they're the enemy, they can't do it again because you got them on the radar. They can't never get close to you no more. And with the new but with the new and higher levels of awareness because of what they tried to do to you, collectively and individually, you're stronger, you're wiser, and you can breathe easier, you can throw your combinations easier, and you know you can't do nothing no more. You can't do nothing to me. You impotent because you played your hand. You tried to throw a punch and knock me out, and I dodged it, and you slipped and fell on the ground, and you can't. Nah. So it's a blessing because then you don't have to carry the weight of all of these fraudulent people around you, and
that's true.
And how they turned people who may have been in your corner and whispered in their ear to turn them against you. Now you ain't got to babysit none of them. Now you're light, you're solo with the tight circle you have around you, the few, and it's easier to go up. It's a beautiful thing. I hate to be so lewd, but it's almost like I'm not going to call them what I'm explaining, but it's like when you're packed up and you go and do a number 2, and it feels so good coming out. And when you turn around, you see the sugar honey iced tea in the toilet where it belongs, and now you see that you got these people away from you because you can't carry, I'm going to say it, you can't carry around all these shitty people. And now you're rid of them. You're clean. Your bowels are clean, and you're only going to put the good stuff in your gut.
Mm-hmm.
This is only the beginning.
That's a real explanation based on natural laws.
Peppered it with some spicy words, but I had to say it.
Yeah, I think everybody got the picture on that one. Because, boy, let me tell you, it doesn't amaze me as much anymore because I don't, you know, we have this ability to navigate because we can pick up this energy.
Yeah. Well, now
so
you do.
As soon as I pick that energy up, brother, I'm ghost.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Don't worry about me because as soon as I detect a slight bit of that energy, oh, see you. And I ain't trying to see you again. Yeah, I'm out.
Yeah.
And
because you see,
answer no calls.
You get to a point where you know that you can navigate solo, that you have it all inside of you. It's great when you can be synergistic with your crew, with the people in your circle. Like you're in my circle, so I know that we can go higher. This is why this particular program goes where it goes, but you can still operate solo until the right people come along. But until the time comes, you can still do phenomenal work. And this is not believe in yourself. See, nobody goes to a job and, well, I believe I'm going to get paid. You're not going to want to work if you believe you're going to get paid. You got to know that you're going to get paid.
Okay.
You don't believe nothing. I know on Friday comes, you better have my paycheck. I gave you my time. Give me the money.
A direct deposit.
Exactly. I got up in the morning time, write the stuff, come to work hungry sometime, tired, didn't get no sleep, put in the work, give me my check. Okay. And I'm gonna make sure you ain't rob me of a couple dollars either, because I did some nights of overtime.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
So we don't need those type of people around us who rob from us, or they see we're coming into ourselves and they're destiny thieves. They're envious of who you are and how the Creator made you. They want your role. So they want to push you down, tie you up in the closet, gagged up, and they jump in your place and get all your shine. Me, so I'm not looking for shine. I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do.
That's like a movie I saw with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. And when he went back to his house after they had him in this lab and whatever, he saw a replica of himself playing in there with his wife, his kid. I can't think of the movie.
I forgot the name too, but I know you're talking about.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So they can place you and make people think, just like these people they have that hijack your channels or your Facebook accounts and do all this other stuff. You know, they can do that, but at the same time, they're not the authentic you. So what people don't realize is it's not just our presence, it's our energy too. That's our power.
That's right.
And you can't take that away. You don't have the ability to take that away.
That's right.
And so I'm like everybody else, certain things, it bothers me, but at the same time, it's not going to change the trajectory of my day at all.
Right.
It's not.
I will stop it. Because
I'm not going to sit around worrying about what you think about me.
Don't worry about that. I've been doing this too long. I've been me too long to worry about somebody thinking about me or lying on me, because my energy will reveal all in time. Right? When you get that detour, or when you get that blockage in the road, like, oh man, I'm blocked right now. No, you're not. You just can't see it, because the spiritual GPS you're connected to is going to tell you how to get around this bad boy, even if you can't see it. But if you're up in the sky looking down, you say, hey man, all these to you, and get to the same destination they want to go to. See that?
Well, see, the thing too,
and with the same place.
Yes, the same. There's nothing new under the sun, as they say. It's the same thing.
Right.
I guess the people who have been successful at this even ask themselves, are we really still getting away with these mind you-know-whats? Are we really doing this to the point where... So here's how they play the psychological flip reverse game. They'll say everything that attach with your awakening, they demonize. This woke, what, and then will attach things to us that we didn't ask for to further create negative energy. They'll attach other cultures or other people or other concepts or ideologies. You know what I'm talking about, Lance. And they'll do that to bring all of this negative energy and see all these woke CRT, DEI, not knowing they talking about their ignorant selves. But they're doing this because a lot of our people their minds and spirits have become weak under this pressure.
Yes.
But if you look at nature, the things that are exposed to the most pressure are the things that are valued the most. Diamonds, right?
So true.
Pearls, oil. Anything that is in the bowels of the earth that has to have pressure to manifest, it means something. So when you have the same pressure on Black folks that you've had for all these centuries or millennium, really, what you don't realize is like that plankton, those microscopic organisms that cause these earthquakes, fires, and these volcanoes, you are the one that's causing this, your own demise, and don't even realize it, because you're so bent on trying to destroy Black folks. So good luck with that, because You have no idea what the power that you're facing. Well, you have an idea. The problem is they keep our people under this sorcery where we can't activate this power. But
that's what it is.
again, the natural brew don't need us to activate this power. They in everything: wind, fire, air, water. They in everything. Trees. You might see one day trees. I saw one video where the trees were working.
Yeah. So
yeah. So you don't
they
know
do have a presence, and I learned that when I was walking that 15 miles. Yeah, they have a strong presence. When I was walking down, when they dropped me 15 miles down the road at midnight in the clouds, was no nothing. I couldn't see the road, nothing. I had to feel around so I didn't fall off the edge and fall on the side of the mountain. And the trees, again, I would say fog, but it was clouds. And you're looking at it because it's white, the clouds, and you get closer to it, and you physically see the tree, but I felt the power and presence from it. And it was almost, I had nothing to be scared of, but to realize that a tree that we pay no mind always has this life force to it was righteously frightening. It was like, whoa.
So you remember the Wizard of Oz when that tree, they picked one of the apples off the tree, and the tree came alive and says, and the Scarecrow said, Dorothy, don't eat any of those apples. It's probably full of worms anyway. But now he's supposed to be the one without a brain, but that was a smart move because they didn't have to pick the apples anymore. He was throwing them giving them to him. Right. Sort of like what the position they're in. They think that them throwing apples at us is going to knock us out or down. When really, okay, keep throwing apples. We'll make apple cider from it, apple juice. So yeah, man, all our people have to do is think, man, about what's going on. Sit back and laugh at this stuff, man, because in my mind, I ain't got time to try to hurt nobody else or worry about how is it that you could sit around planning to destroy a whole community or nation of people? That has got to be, I couldn't imagine, man.
And that just further proves that you are the virus of the earth. Like when a virus enters your body and it makes you feel sick and starts to destroy things, that means that they are the virus of the earth. See? We don't need to go and get some type of substance to put in to get rid of that virus. All we got to do is cling back to the natural, the righteous, and the totally spiritual and connect to that sun, because they don't like the sun. Just like when they say the vampires don't like the sun and it's getting to be daybreak, let me get away. They tell it on themselves in their movies. They're bloodsuckers and they're vampires and they don't belong in the natural world. They don't belong on this planet. That's why they want to kill off the sun and the people who thrive from it. Features of darkness, and it's a spiritual darkness we're talking about.
It's absolutely a spiritual darkness.
It's all there when you open up that part of your mind that's not shackled by what they taught you to enslave your thinking. You see it all clear, like you said. You see it all clear. I do. That's why I heard him get the heck on about away from them people. But you don't have to be in the zone away from them, because you can be away from them and still have your mind messed up.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So I've gotten to the point in my life where they don't affect me the way, and they get angry when you don't pay attention to them. And so there's something crazy happened today. I went to the library to get some information the other day, and I had my headphones on and looking through the iPad. I had some music playing, and this black chick came, was chopping up a little bit. She said she was in medical school, whatever. I was like, yeah, that's cool. And I look up, the librarian standing in my face. The guy that was sitting in that chair, he walking back and sat in the chair. She said, can you turn your music down a little bit? It's disturbing one of the patrons or something. And I looked up, because now I have the Apple. These, you can't hear nothing.
Right. But that was just to choke you.
Huh?
It was just a poke at you.
Yeah, because I didn't acknowledge him. You know, he had been sitting there for about maybe, I don't know, an hour while I was doing my work or whatever. And I decided to start listening to some music. And, you know, he got highly upset that I didn't acknowledge him. And see, the ones here that are on the bubble, if you know what I mean, they're on the bubble, they really get offended when you don't pay attention to them. And it's even harder when Black folks don't pay attention to them because they think their vibration do affect our people because we operate on a caterpillar level with them. But when you're dealing with butterfly energy, it don't matter. Yeah, okay, keep on doing that stupid stuff. I ain't got time to think. I don't even care, to be honest with you. I don't.
Exactly.
You're not, because your hate towards me, it doesn't affect me at all. Now, if you put your hands on me, it's something different. I got a showstopper for you if you do that.
Well, not only that, you put your miles in walking, you got a long reach, and your last name ain't Frazier for nothing.
Okay, I'm getting ready to tell you, bro, it's gonna be a quick, swift knockout. Soon
I already know.
Put your hand on me. And
I
so
can see that. I can see that from so many thousands of miles away. I can see that. That's right.
Oh yeah, and you know they always trying to size us up like, okay, you know. But you know the other thing that hurts us too, brother, is there are a lot of our people, man, that are in bad situations that have to beg them. So they be out, you know, in the streets or wherever they are. And so when they see you, they're looking at you like, huh, why is it like you said that they say about you? Well, how did he escape this? Us not having him in our clutches. That's how they look at us. When they see a Black man like you, they look and they say, damn, what is it we didn't get him with? Let
me tell you, you got them out here who have physically left the Western mindset, but they still are trapped in the Western way of doing things, even though they drape themselves in African garb and say all these different words, but the thinking and the resentments and the arrogance and the envy is still there. So now I'm out here and we're to ourselves. Oh, we vibe with people, certain chosen ones.
But they know you're American, though.
Say it again?
They know you're American, and when they see you, then you know, then all of a sudden,
what I mean by that, I'm embraced by the Ghanaians. I'm talking about Americans who have moved out here. Who try to make me at one point the outcast, but they realize that I'm not trying to join your party. That's like saying, I ain't going to invite Lance to the party. Listen, I got my own party going on here.
Obviously.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And the parties that I have been has been going on long before I even came here. You see what I mean? So I'm like that insect under the big stone in the yard that when you move the stone as a kid, you see, move the stone, you see all these things going on under all kind of insects you never thought you'd see. Well, I'm silent on many fronts. I don't broadcast on my moves, but there's all kind of things going on and getting ready to go on that have nothing to do with these hierarchies and these cliques. And I'm trying to get the attention on you to I'm just doing what I always did and try to ascend even more from what's inside, which has nothing to do with the geographical location, but the geographical location will serve me if I have the right mindset. But if I bring the Western thing over here, dress it up like it's something else, it wouldn't feel right. I'm still LanceScurv.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
I know what you're talking about, brother, because I have those same experiences. Because, you know, our people always, they want us to mimic these vampires. And if you're not, then they get angry at you because they know that they have to do it. So when they see you broken away from that power, then they get angry at you. And it's a fascinating. It's almost like an astronomical event. The way you know, it's like when you break away from the norm. Well, really, it's not. Really, when you start connecting to your natural self,
yeah,
then right away, first they use the coons, and then they try to get the people in your inner circle, and you know they do all kind of stuff, man. I'm so glad, man. I may not have left the country, but in my mind, I have.
But you were on the same level. See, I may be physically gone
right
from America, but mentally I'm where I'm supposed to be, and you're where you're supposed to be mentally. Whether you, no matter where you are, brother, putting your feet in the world, you are there, and you are better off than many Americans who have come here and can't shake their old ways. Their old toxicities, they done brought it with them. And you can see it. And see, this is why cyberspace has stirred up a lot of the things that many of us have inside of us, and we reveal it without even knowing it.
That's right.
Because of yeah. You know?
Yeah.
So
hey, brother Lance, I better get going, man. These people gonna keep.
I got some extra bonus beats out of you. You know, when you had the old big records that had said bonus beats, well, you gave us some bonus beats. You gave us the spiritual and wisdom doggy bag to snack on until we see you again next Monday.
Yes, sir.
You know?
All right, brother. Well, you take care of yourself.
Yes, as always.
Love. I'll talk to you soon.
All right. We'll be here. All right. Peace. All right. Much love. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. What a fabulous exchange that was. Cosmos. It's just, I love it. I love these kind of conversations. I love these type of exchanges. This is what I need. This is what we all need to hear. And it's just a beautiful thing. And I want to always keep it going on. And this is what I live for. You know, this is what I live for. So yes, let me get ready to move on. I'm going to write something. I might come back on later on short, but it is a little later. So fatigue might take me over. But I will definitely write another article. So you got to be on Substack for that. LanceScurv.substack.com. Yeah, you have to put your email address in. So everything we do, you'll get. So no matter what platform wants to knock me off but it's okay because we're so independent. And this particular show will be put up there momentarily. I just have to download it and then upload it to Substack and give it its own page. And we'll be in the chat room there and commenting there and all of that good stuff. And I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much for being here, family. It really means a lot to me. And we're going to keep this thing going. All right. So I'm going to sign off for now. But just like the Pearl Harbor attack, maybe it might be a bad comparison. We will be back. But nothing is going to stop us. And nothing is going to stop this content from going out there regardless. All right. See you in a few. Peace.